Before we begin, make sure to like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Jikook Lover, because moments like this are easy to miss, but once you see them, you can't unsee them. This is not a loud moment. There's no wave, no smile, no words, just Jungkook sitting inside an airport car. And yet, this exact moment stopped the internet. Why did a few silent seconds inside a moving vehicle turn into one of the most talked about clips among ARMY worldwide? What if fans noticed that others didn't? And why does this moment feel heavier than it looks? Stay with us, because this is not just a clip. It's a question no one can stop asking. Not every viral moment begins with noise. Some arrive quietly, slipping into timelines without announcement, without intention, without spectacle. And yet, once they appear, they refuse to leave. That is exactly what happened with Jungkook in a short, almost forgettable clip filmed inside an airport vehicle. A moment so brief that, under normal circumstances, it should have disappeared within seconds. Instead, it became a global conversation. At first glance, there is nothing extraordinary. Jungkook is seated inside a car at the airport, surrounded by staff and security. He wears a light-colored hoodie and a black mask. The lighting is ordinary, the angle imperfect. There is no interaction with fans, no exaggerated expression, no performative gesture. And yet, within hours, the clip spreads. ARMY begins to slow it down. Zoom in. Replay the same 2 seconds again and again. Screenshots appear. Edits follow. Captions grow longer. Theories begin to form. Not because Jungkook did something dramatic, but because he didn't. He simply sat there. Calm, quiet, distant, and somehow different. What made this moment explode across social media was not action, but atmosphere. A feeling that something subtle had shifted. Fans struggled to name it, but they felt it instantly. The way his gaze lingered just a fraction longer to the side, the stillness of his posture, the absence of the familiar warmth people had grown used to seeing in public appearances. It wasn't cold. It wasn't unfriendly. It was controlled, reserved, almost guarded. And that distinction mattered. For years, Jungkook has been known as someone whose presence radiates openness. Even in brief airport appearances, there was often a soft acknowledgement, an eye smile, a quick glance, a small nod. This time, there was none of that. Not because he looked upset, but because he looked inward. Fans noticed immediately. Some described it as maturity, the quiet confidence of someone who no longer feels the need to perform every second. Others felt something heavier, something unresolved, something they couldn't quite explain but couldn't ignore either. He looks peaceful, but why does it feel lonely? One fan wrote. He didn't do anything. So why does this hurt? Another asked. Am I projecting, or does he look like he's carrying something? A comment read, gaining thousands of likes. And just like that, the clip stopped being just a clip. The car itself became symbolic. An airport vehicle is not a stage. It is a liminal space between public and private, between arrival and departure, between who an idol is for the world and who they are when the cameras fade. Jungkook existed in that in-between space, and fans were watching from the outside, trying to understand what they were allowed to see. Some argued that there was nothing to analyze, that Jungkook was simply tired, that reading meaning into silence was unfair and invasive. These voices urged caution, reminding others that idols are human, entitled to neutrality, to blank expressions, to moments of rest without interpretation. But others pushed back gently. They weren't claiming facts. They weren't diagnosing emotions. They were reacting. Because fandom has never been just about what is shown. It has always been about what is felt. What made this moment spread even faster was how divided yet respectful the discussion became. No single narrative dominated. Instead, timelines filled with questions rather than conclusions. People didn't say, "This means something." They asked, "Why does this feel like something?" Major fan accounts avoided sensational language, but engagement continued to climb. Media outlets soon followed, carefully framing the story as a reflection of fandom culture rather than a statement about Jungkook himself. Headlines spoke of a brief airport moment sparking widespread discussion, and fans reacting to Jungkook's quiet appearance. And still, the clip kept circulating, perhaps because it offered no answer. In a world saturated with content, where every move is documented and explained, ambiguity is rare. Jungkook gave no statement. No follow-up appearance clarified the mood. The moment remained suspended in time, open, unfinished, unresolved. That uncertainty is what keeps people talking. Is this a sign of growth? Is this simply exhaustion? Is it proof that fans are too emotionally invested? Or proof that the bond is deeper than ever? No one can say for sure. And maybe that's the point. The viral nature of this moment says as much about the audience as it does about Jungkook. Millions saw themselves reflected in that quiet gaze. Their worries, their fatigue, their transitions, their own moments of sitting silently while the world moves on outside a window. In that sense, Jungkook didn't just appear in a car at the airport. He became a mirror. As days pass, newer content will inevitably replace this clip. Louder moments will come. Smiles will return. Performances will dominate headlines again. But this brief, silent appearance has already carved its place, not because it demanded attention, but because it invited interpretation. And now, the conversation remains open. As the clip continued to circulate, something unexpected happened. Instead of fading away like most airport moments do, it began to take on a second life. Fans were no longer just sharing the video, they were sharing how it made them feel. Timelines filled with personal reflections rather than reactions, as if Jungkook's silence had quietly given others permission to speak. Some ARMY admitted they watched the clip late at night, replaying it without fully understanding why. Others said it reminded them of moments in their own lives, sitting in a car after a long day, staring out the window, feeling present but emotionally distant. The relatability of that stillness became its own form of connection, blurring the line between idol and individual. What stood out most was how collective the response felt. Fans from different countries, speaking different languages, described nearly identical emotions. Calm, heaviness, nostalgia, a sense of transition. None of these feelings were confirmed by Jungkook himself, yet they appeared again and again, as if the fandom had unconsciously agreed on a shared emotional vocabulary. This raised a deeper question within the community. When does interpretation become projection, and when does it become empathy? Some fans argued that idols inevitably become emotional anchors, especially when they've grown alongside their audience for years. Jungkook debuted young, and many ARMY grew up watching him do the same. Seeing him quiet, reserved, and less expressive triggered a realization that time has passed for him and for them. In that sense, the moment wasn't about concern, but about recognition. Others pushed for restraint. They reminded everyone that Jungkook has always valued privacy, and that reading too much into a single glance risks turning human neutrality into a narrative it was never meant to carry. These fans emphasized trust. Trust that if Jungkook wanted to share something, he would do so on his own terms. Yet even among those voices, there was an acknowledgement. This moment felt different. Not alarming, not dramatic, just different. And perhaps that difference lies in timing. The world is louder, faster, and more demanding than ever. Idols are expected to be constant sources of energy and reassurance, while fans themselves navigate uncertainty and fatigue. In that environment, a quiet image can resonate more strongly than 1,000 words. Jungkook's appearance in the airport car became a pause, a visual breath in the middle of endless motion. No statement followed, no clarification arrived, and that absence became part of the story. The moment remained untouched, preserved exactly as it was when it first appeared, brief, silent, unresolved. Eventually, trends will move on. New clips will take over. New discussions will dominate feeds. But this one will linger in memory, precisely because it refused to explain itself. And that leaves fans with one lingering thought. If a few seconds of silence can spark this much emotion, this much reflection, and this much debate, what does that say about the bond between Jungkook and the people watching him grow from afar? Was this simply an ordinary moment caught at the wrong, or perhaps perfect time? Or did it quietly reveal something about where Jungkook is now, and where the fandom is heading with him? And most importantly, are we witnessing a moment that means nothing at all, or one that will only make sense much later, when we look back and realize it was never just a moment to begin with?